Linda recently met a stranger on social media. She thought he would turn out to be the love of her life. She went on a date and she was raped. Today, to answer Linda's questions, my name is Chineye Noli and I am the host of this show, the Metrowoman Talk Show. Joining me to discuss, we have Temitope Babatunde, a sex therapist, and Kevwe a writer and fashion consultant. How are you ladies doing on the show?
Fantastic.
Are you ready to take this on?
Absolutely. My sleeves are rolled.
On the Ask Metrowoman segment today, we're going to take questions from women all around the country who send us questions on the daily. Now, if you have any questions or issues that you're currently grappling with and you would like us to help you out, send an email to us on ask@metrowomanafrica.org. Today on the show, Kevwe and Temitope. Linda has sent an email and we're going to look at that briefly. She says, "Hello Metro Woman. I recently met a very interesting guy on social media and we had been talking for a while. We finally had a physical date. I went to his room for drinks after our date. He apparently spiked the drinks and I woke up the next morning realizing that I'd been violated. Right now, I am confused. I don't know what to do. I have no one to talk to. I cannot tell my friends because I'm embarrassed. I need help. I feel very depressed at this point. Please help me." From Linda.
Really sad.
It's really sad, right? Kevwe, your sleeves are rolled up.
Yes, I mean, like, it's a really sad thing to hear. And then I feel like that the reason why rape is so prevalent in Nigeria, especially, is because these men go unpunished. And it's because women are ashamed to speak out, right? I don't think that if you were raped or abused, you shouldn't be the one who's ashamed. The person who raped you should be the one who's ashamed because he has done something wrong and not you. So I think that if women speak out more, it would help to, I don't know, even if not bring down the number per se, but I mean, I feel like it would help just knowing that, okay, the person who has done this is behind bars. So I think she should tell someone that she can trust. Maybe not her parents if she feels like she will get blamed, maybe her friends. Yeah, so I think she should report him.
She should report him.
Yes.
Do you share the same sentiments?
Okay, yes.
Because there's so many things that are going on right now in her head, including the fact that people would ask her, what were you doing in the room alone with a guy? She felt he was a decent man, like she felt she had read him and that, you know, she just didn't, I think there are people you don't expect.
Nobody expects to get raped,
from.
That's the thing. I don't think that you should be asking somebody who got raped what she was doing at his house, because that shifts the blame from the rapist
to the victim.
And it's just ridiculous.
Okay,
yes.
My personal opinion is that sex education is very important. And I think that's what's lacking in our community or society today.
Yeah.
So if we are better informed, probably we'll be able to respond to victims better. So case in point.
So you're talking about responding to the victim.
To the victim, right? Yeah. Because there's no question of why did you do that, or what why did you
wearing?
What were you wearing, or why were you in his house? No, it's his responsibility to protect you, because as at that moment it took responsibility to see you on a date, right? So he doesn't have to violate you. Another thing is consent. You know, it's an essential part of sexuality. And you know, people just feel maybe because we're in a relationship now, then sex is
the natural byproduct.
Like, is the response. You know, or maybe because you're in my home, or because I bought something for you, then I have to collect something back.
And then I also think that most guys in Nigeria do not understand the concept of consent. I think that a girl says no because she's
playing hard to get,
screaming. They feel like, okay, yes, exactly, and it's just ridiculous. Like, no is no, whether it is a scream or a whisper. No is no.
And I think one thing we need to understand here is that this person right now needs help. We'll still talk about it generally,
yes,
but then
absolutely.
Right now what she can do, if it's not up to 3 days that this has happened to her, she can actually take a sample, a body fluid, to the nearest hospital, get it screened. Forensic studies can be made on it.
In Nigeria?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yes. And it can be for free. So like the likes of Mirabel Center, Warif, they work on cases like that for free.
Okay.
So she can be heard. Because if she tries to confront the guy can really deny because there's no evidence.
Yes.
And I think that's what people really said. Okay, when you tell him
there's no
he raped
evidence,
you,
there's no
what's
proof.
your evidence? You know, what's your evidence? Did you use force? That's nothing. Because
What
some people
about
think
in his house?
some people think rape is just when
there's
a
physical
use of
force, and there isn't always physical force.
And then another thing is because he drugged, it was already premeditated. So it wasn't
premeditated, actually. That's premeditated.
And most times you just feel maybe because we're comfortable with the other person, we can leave our drinks unattended. We can just tell someone to go and get the wine somewhere because we trust the person. But it doesn't work that way, especially when you're with the opposite sex. Whether you've known them for 10 years, it doesn't matter because the heart of man is desperately wicked, so it doesn't matter. And these drugs that are used for date rape, or whatever rape, they are odorless, they are colorless, they are tasteless. So you might not even know that you've been drugged.
Yes.
But there are some people that are quite sensitive with how their body works, that they just know that something is going on.
Wrong.
And when you're in that situation, the best thing to do, like I do, is to make sure that I have some numbers on my speed dial. So when I do a long press on 2, it calls someone. On 3, it calls someone.
That's
so I just need my
very
phone.
Smart.
So I just need my phone. Once I do that long press, and I'm not talking, or I just make it, they already know, I've already planned it ahead of time. So I advise right now, after reporting the case to maybe sexual violence team, and probably talk to your set of experts behind the scene. I think she also needs to really go through a sort of therapy.
Yes.
So, and I know that Mirabel Center, Warif, they do that for free, but I don't know who she'll be comfortable with, or she can talk to me, really. That therapy will actually help her reprogram her mind because she'll be going through a lot thinking that it's her fault.
Yes,
absolutely.
That's true.
And that shame will always be there.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And
so
before you know
rape
it,
is
she might...
never the victim's
It's never the
fault.
victim's fault.
And it's a crime.
Yes.
Whether it's done in Nigeria or elsewhere, rape is a crime. And it could actually go to jail for 14 years or so for that. So it's something that should be followed up. So there's nothing like people will stigmatize me that I've been raped. No, it wasn't your loss. It was this for not being responsible. All right, so that's my...
And that's the thing, like, it's really, really, it's important that she knows that it wasn't her fault in any way. Like, I tell people the only reason for rape is rapists. True. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
It's not short skirts. It's not the fact that I'm in a man's house by 12 midnight.
Yeah.
The only reason for rape is a rapist. Now, that being said, I feel like as young women, we need to be a bit more conscious of our own safety.
Yeah.
If you're going on a date with a guy that you don't know, buy pepper spray. Have like 5 in your bag. Just have it handy. I'm not even like, it is very important. Like if you have the time, take self-defense classes. Learn how to kick and blow. It can save your life. You just never know.
We need to go on a short break. Remember that Linda is listening and learning. Remember that there are thousands of girls out there who have either gone through this situation or are about to go through it. So we're here to save them and give them answers. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay tuned. So my guests are here and we're arguing. When we were talking before the show started, we talked about the fact that you're not raped by only strangers. The predator sometimes is usually someone you know.
Statistics have actually shown that 80% of rape cases, the victims knew the rapist personally, either as casual friends or they've been speaking
over time.
Yes, or he stays in her neighborhood or he works in her building or something. So it's not even just about knowing the guy and all. You can be raped by a guy who is your friend.
Have you ever had a close shave? Do you have any
in my own experience,
circumstances you could share?
Yeah, in my own experience, I've counseled someone who was raped by a boyfriend. I thought the memo was we are in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
So if I thought there's going to be sex, it's something that
should be consensual.
Consensual, and we know that, okay, this is what we have done, we've agreed to do it. Not that you force the other party because you think you're spending on the person, or you think because the person is your girlfriend or boyfriend.
You're enticed.
And it happens the other way.
Body.
I think we are too focused on women or girls being raped.
Do women
Boys,
rape men?
Well, men get raped, but the
Like,
thing is,
boys
they
get
don't
raped.
speak out.
Men-
So let them not speak out. We're talking about women.
Like,
So it's
They
fine.
are women, why?
Like,
Yes,
true.
now.
Why you
don't
such
get
a
to speak out.
feminist
They don't
on
get
this
to speak
show?
out.
No.
it's fine.
Every human life matters. I do agree with you
But
on
the
that.
men don't talk about it. So if they're going to act
Okay, so you're telling me
Why
that
don't they
because
talk about it? Do they feel
toxic
embarrassed?
masculinity, toxic masculinity.
No.
They feel like it would be like a downgrade on their masculinity if they admit that some
But they are not
girl
talking. They're
raped
not
them.
speaking now.
Hmm?
Men are now reporting
Hardly.
cases.
Not
Can
in
you bring
Nigeria,
someone
hardly.
like that on the show? Because we need to help them as well. We need to save them
But this
from
is Metrowoman.
women.
But trust me,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be like overpowering the guy. It might be drugged.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, things might happen. It might be seduced. Another thing is, we think maybe rape is just when you force, like I said. No.
Yeah.
You can manipulate someone into sex.
And
And
the thing
that's
is,
already
as far as
without
the
consent.
person
And
is
that's
doing it
rape.
without her consent. Even if
Interesting.
there is
for
no
her
force,
consent.
it is rape. And the thing is, I feel like I need to also add that I think in some states in America, consent can actually be withdrawn. Now,
Yeah, that's why I
it
said
means
it's
that if I
ongoing.
say
At
yes,
any
it
point-
means that if I say yes and then my my clothes are off, at the very last minute, if I
And I
say
say
no,
no.
you have to stop. If not, it is rape. Young girls need to pay more attention to their own safety
Yes.
and security, just from a very conscious point of view. So some month ago, I went on a date with this guy. I had met him like a month earlier on, and then we went. Okay, we were supposed to
Did you
go
meet him
on
on
a
social
date.
media
No.
or-
I met him at an event I went for.
Okay.
And we spoke over the phone for some weeks, and then we now agreed to go on a date. So we agreed to meet up at some restaurant in, I think it was in Magodo or so. So we had agreed on a time and a place. I was just supposed to basically just show up there. So I went there. On my way, at about 10 minutes before I got there, he called me, and then he said that, okay, he needed to change the venue because he had some issues with his car.
Yeah.
And then he wanted to move the date to his house. And then I thought, to your house, that's a bit weird.
Like, hello.
And then before I could ask more questions, he got off the phone. And then I arrived at the date venue, and then I called him. And then he said that he was just driving out because his car had some issues, and then he had to go and park his car at home because if his car went off there, it would be hard to move it, blah, 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 blah. Basically,
Yeah.
he wanted me to come home with him. And of course, I ain't going to do that because mama didn't raise no fool, you know. So anyway, I said, okay, look, I'm really sorry about your car, but I don't really feel okay coming home with you. And then it's like, it's no big deal. My car is bad. I need to just go home, drop this car, and pick a different car. Now, all of this time, he was still in his car, and I was in my ride. So, and then at some point, he said that, okay, that he had to move because he couldn't keep his car stationary. So I said, I'm okay, you know what, fine, just move. I'll come behind you in the car that I'm in. So, and then we drove,
you to
calm down, and then come
the
into his car. Oh, and then take note, the car that he was in was tinted all around. So I couldn't even see into the car to see if he was alone or with
if he had friends with him.
And if the friends had cutlasses or guns, you know, I couldn't see anything.
Even in the car.
Even in the car, exactly. So I was still in my car. And I said, I'm okay, I'm fine, just move, and then I'll just follow behind. So about 3 streets away from where the restaurants that we were supposed to meet at, he now stopped at some building. And then he stopped, and then I looked outside, and it was a guest house. And I'm like, first of all, you told me, you said your house. Why are you stopping at a guest house? And then he goes, that this is where he stays when he's in town for business. Wow. And I'm like, but you said you were going home. So he doesn't, he said that he doesn't live in Lagos, but he had set his house earlier on. And then I'm like, well, you said you were going to your house. You didn't say
all of
guest
those
house.
were red flags.
It was a huge red flag. Now, all of this time, we were speaking over the phone because I refused to come down from my car and then join his. Now, at the time he now parks outside the building, he now came down from his car to come and try to talk me into coming down from my car and then going into the guest house with him.
And that's why best money is important.
Now, at the time he came down from the car, I now noticed that a guy came down from his car also. It was so, at that point, I'm like, oh, so you were not even alone inside this car. As in gang rape alert. Oh, so you're not even alone inside this car. And then he came down again. He tried to convince me. I said, you know what? I'm just going to just wait here for you. So if you need to change your car, just do that. I'll be here waiting.
That's very
I'm going to ask my driver to not end the trip. Like, I really don't mind. Just wait for me. Go and do all that you have to do. I'm going to just sit right here. I mean, he kept trying to convince me. And I was like, dude, I have like 10 more minutes. So you either go in and then come back out, or I'll just go and then that's the end of it.
And you know, the thing about that scenario, what I really think is maybe he was innocent. Maybe he was a good man. Maybe he had very good intentions.
But I wasn't going to take chances.
Yeah, she wasn't going to take chances.
I wasn't going to take chances.
Yes, that's what I want to put out on the show when we talk about being conscious of your safety. We'll be right back after this short break. We're still having a great conversation. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is still the Metrowoman talk show, and we've been talking about Linda, who was abused. She was raped on a date. She's had a horrific experience, and we're here to talk about date rape. And so far, we've had a great and very eye-opening conversation.
Okay, so talking about our experience, I think one of the things that stood out for me was the fact that she is a financially independent woman.
Yes.
So it was easy for her to control the situation by saying she wasn't going to end the trip. And that's one thing I want to put it out to women out there. Always make sure that you have this thing called vex money. That is enough to cut your date short, such that you can book a ride or call a cab at any point in time. Because you are a steward of your body. You don't need somebody else to do something wrong to you, to violate you, to prove a point. So you can always say no and cut the date short. Then another thing is always make sure that you don't go out without anyone knowing.
Knowing where you are.
Yes, at least one person, one friend or a family member or your parents should know, okay, you're going to see this person and this is where you'll be. You know, I mentioned that I have some of my friends on speed dial. So they already know, we already have this pair arrangement that once I press 2 or 3 long dial, it's clicks, it connects, it calls them, and they're able to help me maybe book a ride immediately, because I'm usually with my ATM or e-wallet is always funded, but they already know that that's my limit once I call them. So they'll make sure I get out of that situation, send me a cab, and I'm out. So your friend needs to know your location, where you are, and via the Life 360 app, they can monitor your movement. It's
so like that 360 app is something everybody needs
on Android.
I've never heard about it. That's interesting.
That's on therapist anyway.
Very good. Thank you so much for that. And we have been talking on security and the things that girls need to do and know, especially when you're going out on dates with people you hardly know, or like Kevwe said, since 80% of the people are, you know, predators that the victims even know in one form or the other. We just want you to be more aware of your security, more conscious, so that you don't get into these kinds of delicate situations. So now we're concluding, and I would like your last words for Linda. But remember that for every Linda out there are 1,000 more girls who either have gone through this situation, do not know what to do, are aggrieved or depressed and embarrassed. And there are also other girls who are walking right now into that trap. So let's start with the sex therapist, Temitope.
Okay, so I'll just say a few things. The first is always trust your instinct.
Always trust your instinct.
Whether it's a business date or whatever date it is, it's not compulsory to honor any invitation. So always trust your instinct. And when you're there, trust your instincts. When your instinct says, leave this place, relocate, don't try to negotiate or convince yourself why you should stay. Another thing I want to mention is alcohol is not always on your side. So it's not the best time to probably enjoy yourself with something you're not used to. You know, I see people taking maybe even cocktails, as simple as that. Anything that is not predefined with known composition should not be what you should take when you are outside. That should be what you should take when you are on your own or with your family members.
Yeah, mix it yourself. So
yes, another thing is alcohol not being on your side is the point, regardless of the percentage. But another thing is once you're done with the cup, don't leave it unattended such that you come back to the cup and pour more things. These date drugs can be colorless, odorless, and tasteless, so it could be drugged that way because you left it unattended. Another thing I want to say is that aside the vex money, always have helplines that you can reach, whether the ones of your friends and families, or maybe survivors line, or maybe ask Metrowoman, and I'm sure you will give them the number.
Yes, we have a line on the screen.
Yes, then lastly, rape is a crime. And doesn't have anything to do with how you dressed or what you said. Maybe you said no with your mouth, or your body was saying yes. That was not the point. The deed has been done, and it's rape because it's without your consent. So always know that it's never your fault for being raped or being sexually abused or violated or assaulted. It's never the victim's fault. And that's all I have to say.
Okay.
So Linda, it's not the end of the world. I mean, as heart-wrenching as this is, I want you to know that you can pull through. This does not define you in any way. You're still the amazing, strong, beautiful woman that you were before this happened. Don't allow this define you in any way. You are not inadequate. You have not been broken or damaged. You're still a complete woman, and you will pull through this.
Wow. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much, and I thank you on Linda's behalf, and for the many other girls who now know what to do and how to protect themselves. And we're here from the Metrowoman Talk Show, wishing you the best. We believe in you. Remember always to be conscious and aware of your security. Dear Linda, you are beautiful. Your dreams are valid, and like Kevwe said, you're not broken, you are whole. And you still have a long, beautiful life ahead of you to make things right and to start afresh. Do you think you're of the opinion that you should report the case, right?
Absolutely.
So that the predator can be prosecuted?
Can be punished, yes.
Yes, but that's if she's ready to.
Yes.
What if she's not ready to?
Thank you for bringing that.
Yeah.
It is a choice to share a story, and she has already done
choice.
so with you.
Yeah.
So if she wants to keep it after this and heal by herself, fine. And heal with the help of experts,
so it's
fine.
Absolutely.
So
up
to tell
to
the
her.
whole world, tell the
Yes.
whole world is up to her.
Yeah.
But she should do whatever she must to be free from the stigma, or to heal,
and
or whatever
to heal.
it is.
The most important thing right now is to heal. And we would like to talk to you if you're out there and you've had a similar situation and you need someone to talk to. We're right here. You can reach us through the numbers on the screen, and you can send your questions or challenges to ask@metrowomanafrica.org, and we will reach you and we will help you. Thank you once again for joining us. We wish you all the best, and from myself and my beautiful guests on the show, you're welcome.
for having me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's say bye to everybody. Bye. See you next week. Thank you.